How is everyone today? Happy Thursday. I hope your week is going well. Per usual, always takes a bit to get everything pulled up. So give me a moment, and then when you see me live, let me know by leaving a comment so I know that y'all are here. So let me know. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope your week is off to a good start. Super busy here, per usual. Okay, I think we are good to go officially. Let's see. Have some updates for you guys today and some news to share, which I'll get to at the end of this 30-minute stream. Okay, it looks like we are good to go. I'm always a little bit delayed. Let me know when you guys are here on LinkedIn. Let me know in the chat, in the comments. Say hello. Let me know where you are joining me from. And per usual, thank you for hopping on. Hey, Adam, how are you? Hope things are going well. So this week or month or however you want to word this, I want to kind of follow up on what I was talking about last month, which was on the content front of LinkedIn. And then I have some updates for you and some changes that are happening with this show and in general for 2022 and even next month. So I will update you on that as well. And then per usual, let me know if you have any questions or anything I can help you with during this stream. Hey Raquel, hey Theodora, thanks so much for hopping on. I keep moving my chair and my background here is moving, and I'm terrified that if I move a certain way, the whole thing is just gonna fall down. That would be pretty typical in story of my life. Hey Jeff, hey Grace, thanks so much for hopping on, you guys. How's everything going? Thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a good week and a good day. So I want to kind of start talking a little bit about curating content. And so I talk a ton about content marketing in general, obviously, that's kind of my jam. And I want to talk today about curating content and how you can easily start posting content without posting your own original, unique stuff all the time. Hey, John. John says, let's rock and roll. Awesome, John. Hey, Michael. Hello from Washington State. Hey, Maria. Thanks so much for hopping on. So let's get into this a little bit. So we train enterprise sales and marketing teams on how to maximize the effectiveness of LinkedIn. And we talk a lot about building thought leadership. And I am a huge fan, a huge proponent of thought leadership content, but it doesn't always have to be originally from you. So there are so many ways that you can curate content, and I want to lead off this conversation by talking about this because I feel like a lot of people get a little intimidated from posting content. This could be on any platform, right? It could be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Specifically, we're talking about LinkedIn here, but really the mindset goes for any platform. So I want to give you guys some ideas and some tips and tricks on how you can still build up your thought leadership and be portrayed as an industry thought leader and influencer without having to spend a bunch of time posting your own unique thought leadership content. John says, no dog today? Yeah, I got one over here and one over here. They're just not on camera. Maybe they'll surprise us. Dale says, Dale Young from North Georgia Mountains in the US. Awesome, Dale. Thanks so much for hopping on. So one idea for you guys when it comes to curating content, most of you either have your own company or you work for a company that has some sort of company blog. And what I have been encouraging the sales development reps and the BDRs that we work with at ModGirl is to, instead of just posting the company blog with a link to it and, a sentence, kind of taking that blog and reformatting it as a LinkedIn post and then teasing it to your audience with a call to action to finish, click the link in the comments to finish reading the full blog, and then you can have another call to action with whatever you want. And so here's kind of how this looks. Keep in mind, you can do this for anything. You could even do this for someone else's article or blog. So it works best if you have a long form content that you then want to reformat on LinkedIn. And a quick word of advice, LinkedIn articles obviously are meant for that longer form content. They just do not get the views and engagement that LinkedIn posts do. So you can still use LinkedIn articles, but if you're using them, I highly recommend that you are using evergreen content for those articles. So something that is not going to, go away in a month or be irrelevant a month later. So make sure that it's evergreen content. And then again, don't expect to get loads of views on your articles. So what I'm talking about here is using LinkedIn posts, because you can have 3,000 character limits now. So I'm not saying repost the whole blog as a LinkedIn post. Here's what I'm saying. So you have a blog post or an article on another site, could be your own, could be your company's, could be someone else's, doesn't matter. As long as you find it's relevant for your audience. So what you do is you take that title of the blog post, as long as it's a catchy hook. Like most titles of blog posts are catchy because they want people to read it. So you take that and you make that your LinkedIn hook. So it's the very first thing at the top, very first line. Then from there, you look at the intro of the blog itself and you kind of summarize that intro. So maybe 1 to 2 sentences. So you have the hook, AKA the headline, then you leave a space, then you go into a little bit of an intro about this blog. Again, 1 to 2 sentences. Then you take the bullet points of the blog post. So you're going to combine everything that this blog post talks about and you're going to put it into bullet points. So you're going to list out the key points of this blog post. So you have the introduction leading into it, and then you're like, bam, bam, bam. Here are the 5 key points from the article. Then you end it with some sort of conclusion, like you're wrapping it all together. And then you have a call to action, call to action. And that call to action could be a couple of things. It could lead into your solutions. So now that I just showed you 5 ways that you can XYZ, if you want to speed up the process and save your time and money, this is exactly what we do at Mod Grow Marketing. Send me a message or check out, our website for more information, right? So it could be a call to action for someone to contact you and take it a step further. And then you can also say, to read the full blog, or this excerpt was taken from a blog on the Mod Grow Marketing blog, click the link in the comments to read the full version or something like that. So you're still leveraging all this content, this long form content that's already out there. You don't even have to do anything. It already exists, whether you created the blog or someone else did. And then you're just taking it and reformatting it with a call to action. And so with that said, if you can take images from that blog post and a main image and use that as like the main image for the LinkedIn post, it's going to do well. It's going to do better than if you were to not have an image, as long as that image represents the actual blog post and the content you're talking about. So this is just one of the many, many examples that you can leverage right away to start curating great content without having to spend a whole lot of your time coming up with this amazing, unique content. And you guys can do this for a lot of different things. You can even do this for other people's LinkedIn posts or other social posts elsewhere that you came across. If you don't want to share it directly, then you can literally take someone's, tag that, say, I just saw this great, post today or article from Susie Smith, tag her in it, then say why you liked it with your 2 cents, and then put the link to the full thing in the comments. So there are just so many ways that you guys can add your 2 cents to this. Even if you are sharing something from the company page, you can reshare it with like your favorite version, a quote from it. It doesn't matter, but I want to encourage you guys to curate content because it's content that already exists out there. So let me know in the comments if any of you are already doing this and if you have any tips for everyone here on curating content. And I kind of want to know your thoughts here on what you have found and if it has helped you and, what you guys are doing there. So let me know when, in the comments, your thoughts on that. And then on that note, there are a lot of ways that you can maximize content for lead generation purposes. This could also be curated content. So a couple of things: nurturing prospects, and then reaching out to potential prospects to start conversations. So I'm going to take this conversation, I'm going to keep on the content topic, but I'm going to take it from curating just to have thought leadership stuff going out to actual prospecting on LinkedIn, and then nurturing those prospects on LinkedIn. So feel free to continue commenting though on what I just asked you. So my favorite part of LinkedIn for prospecting is that there are so many avenues that are not salesy at all that you can take to land conversations with people and start meaningful dialogue with people. And a lot of those start with content. So let's first start off by talking about how you can entice people to start a conversation with you via your content. Here's my favorite way. I like using polls for lead gen first content. And what I mean by that is I will create a poll that is very specific to what I do. So I'm going to give you an example. I just did this last week, and we're messaging people right now. So my poll was on connections. Do you accept blind connections from people on LinkedIn? So what are the reasons that you don't accept or you do accept people? Do they have to have a custom message? Do they need to have a profile photo? Do they need to have engaged with you ahead of time? Like, what are those factors that make you actually accept a stranger's connection request? So that was my poll. And then inside the poll, I listed out my strategy that I train sales teams on prospecting on LinkedIn. And that strategy is you engage with people ahead of time, whether it's on their comments or on their post. You like their posts, their comments, you engage with them, you leave comments, you wait a few days, you send a custom connection request mentioning whatever you engaged with, and that's how you start it off, okay? So that's my process. So I spelled that out in this poll. So it was a value poll that wasn't just about how do you accept connection requests from strangers. It was, this is my process. I also want to know your thoughts. So that poll went up. It did really well. Every poll we do does exceptionally well, which is why everyone uses them. I think it has like 50,000 views now or something. So what we do is we leave that open for 2 weeks because we use that as a lead generation tool. So then we go to LinkedIn Sales Navigator and we created a list of targeted first degree connections that fit our criteria of VPs, sales VPs, marketing VPs, demand generation VPs, etc., biz dev VPs. And we send a message out to them, the first degree connections, that simply states, hey, Bill, I just posted this poll on LinkedIn. I don't even know. I should go and read this for you guys so I have the exact verbiage. That probably would have been smart for me to do ahead of time. But it's super simple. So it's something like, hey, Bill, I recently posted a poll on LinkedIn connection requests from strangers. Would love as a sales leader, depending on if it's a sales list, marketing list, as a sales leader, I would love your one-click vote on this. Hope you're doing well, Mandy. That's it. It's super simple. That then gets people to see my message, to maybe, not everyone, click on the link, read it, vote, and then most of the time I get at least a couple people who want to have a conversation with me just from that. So there is zero selling in this, you guys. I'm not selling at all. I never even said, if we can help you with this, let me know. I don't need to do that. My post is doing that for me. My profile is doing that for me. There's no need for me to put in the message, hey, can I help you with XYZ? That it's just not necessary. It goes without saying that this is what we do. And there's a reason that I'm messaging this to you guys. Okay? Does this make sense, everyone? John says, LinkedIn promotes this concept in its guidelines for creator mode. Awesome, John. Jeff says, great advice. Thank you for the inspiration. I need to utilize my network on LinkedIn. Yes, you 100% do need to utilize your network on LinkedIn. I'm so glad you brought that up, Jeff, because you guys most likely have opportunities right now in your first degree connections that you just haven't got in front of or re-engaged with. And this is one of the first things that I take sales reps through in my training for sales development reps on LinkedIn is let's get you in front of that low-hanging fruit. Those people that you're already connected with. And if you're not connected with them, but you know them, add them to your LinkedIn network. Every single time you talk to someone, add them to your LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many ways that you guys can be leveraging the people on your existing network. And so this is a really good way to gauge who is a good fit for you. So if you don't have Sales Navigator, you guys can do this with the free version of LinkedIn easily. All you have to do is use the LinkedIn search feature and make sure you're selecting first degree connections, and then select your parameters. So who are you going after? Select their industry, select their job title. You can easily do this with the free version of LinkedIn. It's just way faster with Sales Navigator, of course. I love Sales Navigator, but it's a good way to kind of re-engage with people too. Like, especially people, you haven't talked to these people in a while. It's just a simple way to get them re-engaged with you and your content, and to let them know that you exist and what you do. Also, a good opportunity for you guys to get in front of people who might not be your ideal target audience, but they know people who would be, and who would be interested in that piece of content. So you guys have to kind of think outside the box a little bit on this too. If you don't have a lot of really highly targeted first degree connections that you are going after from a biz dev perspective, you can always think outside the box a little bit and look at who the majority of your connections are, and still build relationships with them, let them know what you're doing, and then mention, if you know anyone who could leverage XYZ, what you do, I would love an introduction. You know, I do that all the time with new connections. Like, not everyone I connect with is going to be an ideal prospect for Mod Girl or Luminetics. It's not. It's a small percentage of them. But guess what? Every single time, I still tell people what I do. If you've connected with me, you know, recently, I know a lot of you have been connected with me for a while, but you will see that I send that in a message. Like, if you're a fellow marketer, which I love connecting with fellow marketers, and I will say, you know, if this is what we do, basically, like, if you come across companies who could leverage LinkedIn thought leadership and prospecting solutions and strategies, let me know. I would love an introduction. So I'm constantly telling people what I do and how they can help me. And of course, I'm asking how I can help them too. But you guys have to ask. You have to be out there. You have to be sending people these things. And when I say ask, I mean ask for a one-click vote on a poll. I'm not telling you guys to ask for the sale. I'm just telling you to start re-engaging with people. There's so much gold to be mined on LinkedIn. And I feel like the conversation element of messaging people and getting this flowing is totally underutilized by the majority of people. They get so caught up in posting content and getting views and getting likes, or, you know, sending out connection requests to only people they want to be clients with, that they kind of forget that there's this whole other world of conversational sales and building relationships that LinkedIn allows. And it's very powerful. So I don't want you guys to forget about the power there. Hey, Sherry. Yes, so nice to see you. It's been a while. Michael says, yes, this works. I followed the same advice you mentioned on the Social Media Examiner podcast with Mike. Thank you for listening to that. I got over 18,000 views. Awesome, Michael. I love that. I only had 200 followers at the time, and I asked first degree connections to vote in the poll, and it worked. That's amazing, Michael. I am so glad to hear that. Michael is living proof that this stuff works, okay? And I did reveal this on Michael's podcast. So thank you so much for listening, Michael. And I'm so glad you found that helpful. And I'm so glad you actually took action and made it work. That's perfect. So this works with anything, you guys. It's not just polls. So you can do this with all sorts of different types of content and just ask for people's opinions on them. Here's another idea. So let's say you guys have a list of prospects you're going after. And you go and you peruse their content. So you're looking at their content, you're looking at what they have going on. Let's say you come across something and you're like, oh, I really like that. I have a different take on that. You can then post something on the same topic, but with your twist to it, okay? Post it on LinkedIn. Then you send a message to that individual and say, hey, Bob, I really enjoyed your post the other day on A, B, and C. I loved it so much that I wrote my own version with my own take on it here. And then you put the link. I would love your thoughts on this. Thanks. So it's something super simple. So you're boosting their ego by telling them that you really enjoyed that particular content piece. This could even be something like on their blog. It doesn't even have to be necessarily like something they posted. And then you loved it so much that you wrote your own with your own 2 cents, and now you're just sending it to them to ask for their feedback. So there are so many ways that you guys can apply this tactic. It doesn't just have to be on polls. As long as you're coming and approaching it from a place of, I value you as a professional and I want your opinion on this, and I'm not trying to sell you, it's gonna work every single time. When it doesn't work is when you come across disingenuine and sketchy and like you're trying to sell them something. It doesn't work that way. Michael says, I got exactly 18,825 views following your LinkedIn polls tips. I love that, Michael. That is pretty solid. Nice work. Was that your first poll, Michael, or have you done polls before? Jamie says, that's awesome. Grace says, that's so important. Re-engaging with people is so underutilized. Also, I love the idea of leveraging content to re-engage with people. Definitely going to start doing this with LinkedIn. Awesome, Grace. I'm so glad you found that valuable. It really is powerful. And the thing is like not a lot of people are doing this in the right way. So there are a lot of people using LinkedIn content and sending it to people, but they're not doing it in the right way. So they're just connecting with people right out of the gate and they're just sending it to them without, asking permission or even like saying anything why. So let me back up on that. There's a couple of things that I want to point out that are important. If you have recently connected with someone, build a little bit of that relationship first with a thank you message. Tell them what you do, ask how you can help them. Don't send them a link right away. So give it at least a couple of days before you start sending them content to click on. With that said, you don't ever want to send someone something right out of the gate without, asking for their permission. So for example, I see a lot of people sending messages that are like, we have this free webinar or this free lead magnet, this free ebook. I think you would love it. Learn how to grow your business using SEO, blah, 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 with all this content. And then they send the link. That doesn't work. So if you want to send something like that, that is more like a lead magnet piece, like a lead generation piece that you're like asking for people's emails, or even if you're just sending them off your website, mention that you have something valuable for them ahead of time and then send it to them. But what I just went over, you don't have to do that if you do it in the right way. Like the LinkedIn content strategy that I just told you about, leveraging polls or leveraging that other content and then sending it to people, that you can do that without asking, hey, can I send you this link? If you've been connected to them for a bit. So if you just connected with someone yesterday and then you send them a one-click vote poll, like it's gonna rub them the wrong way. Like don't do that. So try to do this for people who you already have been connected with, okay? For at least a week, or at least you have sent them some sort of thanks for connecting message, and it's not like you're sending them your content right out of the gate, because that just, it doesn't sit well with people. It comes across, spammy. Okay. Michael says, it may be important to add that I've only been active on LinkedIn for less than a month and a half. Oh, wow. That's incredible, Michael. It was my third poll. Okay. I love that. That's very impressive that you've only been active for less than a month and a half and you have 18,000 views on that poll. That is pretty powerful. Rich says, Grace, leveraging content is one of my best ways, or one of the best ways to engage and re-engage with people. When you reach out to someone and say, this made me think of you, I thought you'd enjoy the takeaways, it shows you're paying attention to them as a person, what their needs are, and that you're serving them without asking for anything in return. I love that you mentioned that, Rich. That kind of got me on my next point here, which was leveraging content just for the sake of helping people and saying that, they would find it valuable. So it doesn't even have to be anything of yours necessarily. It can be something you came across, just what Rich said. So I came across this article and I thought of you and how ABC company is doing XYZ. I thought you might find this valuable. Check it out. And it could be something totally not yours, not your company's, but they're going to remember, they're going to be appreciative of that, and you have to make sure that it's valuable content that they would actually find helpful, clearly, right? Like that's the whole point. So thank you for chiming in on that, Rich. Okay, let me know if you guys have found this helpful and if you have any questions on that note. Since Rich is here and commenting, I want to give you my announcement now. So my announcement is, this will be my last Ambitious Outcomes live show. Right here, 11/11/21. This is my last one. With that said, I have something bigger and better coming in 2022 with my friend Rich Bracken, who is live right here on LinkedIn with you all. We may or may not be starting a podcast together. It may or may not be streaming on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube when we do it. So stay tuned. That's my update. So big plans coming for 2022. Rich and I are super excited about this new endeavor. I am not going to tell you any more details yet. Stay tuned as we will be releasing more details later on, but I am officially retiring Ambitious Outcomes, this series right here, but that does not mean you will not see me and still get help from me ongoing. You might see me even more in 2022. So it's just going to change a little bit for the better. So we are super excited about that. And that is my message for you, or my announcement. Dale says, I drop links if the first message after connecting is to sell me something, often Bitcoin or something similar, financial investment. Dale, you do not know how many Bitcoin messages and emails we get. It is wild. It's crazy. I am with you though, Dale, on that. Yeah. Not cool. And I feel like those are just like the people that are just literally spamming the hell out of everyone. So they're just blasting out their message to as many people as possible. So that's not what we want to do. Bingo is right, Rich. So with that said, let me know if you guys have any questions for me, any comments. I will leave this up for a minute or so since we were a little bit delayed here. But those are my main tips. I have a lot of cool things coming up. I am officially speaking at Social Media Marketing World in March and some other events. And I am going to start hosting a podcast for Digital Marketer, which I need to actually get going on today. So there's a lot of really cool, exciting things coming up in the works that I will keep you posted on, and that you can continue benefiting from my experience, my knowledge, as well as Rich. May or may not, but will be amazing. Yes, Rich, of course it's going to be amazing. That is a given. I'm super excited about it. So per usual, if there's anything I can do to help you guys ever, let me know. My focus right now is helping businesses create a really robust LinkedIn social selling strategies, as well as holistic demand gen strategies. We work with a lot of technology companies, and we also do one-off corporate LinkedIn workshops, LinkedIn training, LinkedIn speaking. Obviously, I love doing that as well. So if there's anything we can do to help you or your connections, your colleagues, your friends, please reach out and let me know. So I will not be going live next month. I will be traveling for the next month. Basically, I leave for Hawaii actually on Saturday with my mom. So I'm super excited about that. And then in December, I will be gone for the majority of December. So this is my last live until 2022. Well, unless Rich and I do something random in December. As of now, this is my last planned live for the rest of the year. And yes, like Adam says, stay tuned for our big breaking news, which you kind of already got a sneak peek of what we're doing. But we still have to release all of the fun information to you guys on, topics, title of the podcast, and all the things. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys, as always, for joining me on this episode, my very last farewell episode of Ambitious Outcomes. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. It's been like almost, I don't even know, March of last year, I think, is when I started this. It could have been before that. So a while, almost 2 years of going live on LinkedIn. So thank you guys for joining me every single month. And for those of you who joined me weekly, when I was doing it weekly, I appreciate you and your loyalty to my personal brand and Mod Girl and your engagement. And I really, really appreciate you guys. And I hope that you found value in these series. Dale, you are 100% welcome. You are one, you, Adam, and several of you on this live right now have been so consistent and great supporters of me and my business. And I really, really appreciate that. And things are only going to get better in 2022. And so I'm super excited about that. But thank you guys again for joining me on these lives throughout the past 18 plus months. I appreciate you. I hope you found value in my tips and tricks. Stay tuned for bigger things and even more help for you guys on my LinkedIn. So I will be posting all the updates on LinkedIn and of course all the social channels. So stay tuned. Okay. Thank you guys so much as usual. And I hope you have a great holiday season. Happy Veterans Day. Happy 11/11. And I am sending you good vibes to crush the rest of your goals through the rest of the year. And we will make things happen next year. Okay.